So, thank you very much for your patience. All right. If things look up... Oh. What'd you see there, Muriel? Did you see Jake? Is Jake doing something? Like, suddenly super interested in what he's up to. Trying to see what Jake was doing. He's in the kitchen there. Jake's 16, and I think he's showing his age. All right, we have to go to this. We're going to start with the machinist quest. I got my machinist up to level 41. So let's go do that quest. And then we will get into the MSQ. Sky Steel Manufactory. Stephanie seems excited to share something with you. She took off there. Ah, Gav, splendid. You arrived at the very moment I completed my newest machinist marvel. Well, within the very hour, at least. 'Tis unfortunate that many Ishgardians cannot appreciate the practicality of my work. People such as my father, for instance. We have a complicated relationship there. Ugh. Is there naught that can be done for this dreadful odor? Stephanie, my son, the days of shunning your nightly training have come to an end. Never should I have allowed you to set foot inside this workshop, had I but known that the curiosity you displayed as a boy would develop into this all-consuming distraction. Is that all you came to say, Father? I'm well aware of your distaste for... Nay, Stephanie, there is more. House Samael has sounded a call to arms, and House Hylanart is bound to answer. As you well know, however, our companies are light on lances. If we are to avoid dishonoring our name, every able soldier, mine own son included, must take up spear and sword and march to battle. I have not the disposition for charging into enemy ranks, Father. I did not raise a coward. Consider your next words carefully, boy. As manufactory chief, I hold the authority to expel anyone from this workshop. Sheena says, oh, on parchment mayhap. There's only one chief we answer to. I understand that our ranks have grown thin. Thus is our house in dire need of the support my machinist will bring. Challenging the might of dragons with spear and sword is the work of seasoned heroes. Warriors possessed of unflagging stamina and robust physique. Equipped with a firearm, however, even the scrawniest commoner could engage those same scaled demons from afar. Think of it, Father. If the masses were trained in the machinist profession, the casualties of fang and claw would be considerably diminished. Machinist companies would soon form the backbone of our defense, and as the master of the manufactory, the accolades would belong to House Hylanart. Train the masses? Foolish boy, no lowborn army could ever replace a contingent of disciplined knights. Frumlo says, it is time, my lord. Sfara is expected to descend upon our defenses within the hour. Sfara? You mean to engage that great brute with naught but our knights? What would you have me do? The dragon flies straight as an arrow for our very own Skyfire locks. Should we let them be destroyed, the price will be steep in both coin and honor. Father, you must allow me to deploy my machinists. Once you have witnessed them in battle, even you will be unable to deny their effectiveness. Do as you will, Stephanie. As matters stand, I would not turn away a lame chocobo if it offered to defend our holdings. Be certain to assemble your forces at the locks ere Sfara arrives. Ooh. Oh, alright. Gotta eat some food. Oh dear, I fear I have allowed my passions to impair my better judgment. Of all my budding machinists, only you have seen true combat. 'Tis to you, then, that I would entrust the use of my prototype device. The Rook, as I have taken to calling it, is an auto-turret, a type of machinist weapon that fights on its own. Do you recall Rustenthal's explanation of the Aethero-transformer? That contraption at your waist will convert your body's ether into the lightning-aspected energy required to power the turret. You need simply to activate the weapon and it will supplement your own attacks. Svara has plagued House Hylanart for long years. Should you employ the Rook to good effect, then we may rid ourselves of both a deadly enemy and my father's antiquated notions in one fell swoop. Alright, that could be cool. Rook before you reap. Stephanievian entrusts you with his latest creation, the Rook Auto Turret. Stephanievian is once more irked by Rustenthal's absence. Well, Gav, we're as ready can be, all except for our wayward instructor. Would you be so kind as to locate Rustenthal and inform him of the urgency of our situation? I imagine he is loitering in Foundation somewhere, making his unhurried way to the workshop. Stephanie, if you didn't have anything else. This shall be the machinist's first engagement. We need every finger on the trigger. See to your tasks, Gav. Okay. Where do we gotta find him at? Alright, somewhere over... Oh, actually, looks like he's up above. Let's go back to Aetheryte Plaza, which is where it looks like he is at. I think I'm having internet issues too. God. Make sure I'm still on. Oh my god, no way. Because I'm live. I'm live, yeah. I don't know what the issue is, guys. Let's try again and see. Alright guys, this is working yet? I don't know if it's working. I really don't know if it's working. Oh, I see it. Oh, and you hear me? Okay, good. Thank the Lord. Something's working. Oh my god. There we are. I'm on the wrong one. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, Muriel saw something that got her, like, super interested and, like, went zoom. Took off. Yeah, okay. It's working on Twitch at least. I don't know if it's working on YouTube. It's like, oh my god. It is not working on YouTube. I'll have to troubleshoot that later because this is like making me crazy right now. Maybe if I hit go live on YouTube. Oh, okay. Stream is healthy on YouTube at least. Okay. Maybe that's what I need to do. Hit the button on YouTube. I don't know what's happening. So I wanted to get off Restream because it limits what I can do in terms of bandwidth, which I don't like at all. But seeing the shenanigans that are going on with this, I'm gonna obviously have to work some more on it. Because I just had to hit go live on YouTube and hope it works. Okay. It might be working now. Maybe. Oh, yeah. It looks like it's working on there. Finally. Yay. All right. Okay, peeps. All right, if you were following along on Twitch, I was doing the gonna turn my sound down on my Firefox a little bit more. You were following along on Twitch for the 18 minutes that we've been streaming. Stephanievian has been tasked to go to the front as a lancer. And he's not too keen on this. He wants to show his father what the machinist can do. Oh, I see somebody being handcuffed here. Ah, yeah, look at the scrag I caught me creeping about near the workshop. Up to no bloody good, I reckon, so as I sat him down for a friendly chat. Oh, a dragon attack, and the boss needs every hand on deck, does he? Aye, I'll be right there just as soon as I'm done wringing some answers from this ugly sod. You know what? There's one rat. You know where there's one rat, there's always a dozen more. Might be best if you take a look around yourself and deal with any troublemakers before you head back. No need to murder anyone, mind. The noise from a slug shot ought to scare him off. Alright, so we have to use slug shot, which is my number 2 skill. I imagine it's somewhere around here. Sharp-eyed loiterer. What in the seven else? You could have taken off a toe. You're Rostenthal's new pup, ain't you? If it's trouble you're looking for, then look no further than that backstabbing Lumens and Kerr. I don't think so. I think there's somebody else up here. If I remember right. Use slugshot to scare off the troublemakers. Where else do we gotta go? Oh, okay. Let's we gotta go down to the broom and over to the Forgotten Knight. Because we gotta go up, so I think we probably have to be along here somewhere. Oh, yep. Shifty-eyed loiterer. Talking to Celestial. Damn it, you ain't going nowhere, says loiterer. You ain't seen the last of me. He thinks. The name's Celestial, one of your fellow machinists, if you didn't know. I was making preparations for a fight with Svara when that thug ambushed me. Don't bother chasing him. I doubt he knows more than what he was paid to do, but he did make it damn clear that someone out there has a grudge against our workshop. Anyway, I ought to be back to me duties. We ain't never fought in a proper battle, let alone against a monster like Svara, and we'll need all the advantages we can get. We have to go up to the Forgotten Knight. There's another shifty-eyed loiterer. How uncouth! But I suppose I should expect not less from one of Rostenthal's underlings. You learned it from the vicious brute yourself. Heed my word. The Sky Steel Manufactory plays haven to villains. For the safety of Ishgard's citizens, the manufactory must needs be shut down. Their Rugadin instructor poses as the former commodore of the Knights of the Barracuda. This is a lie. In truth, he is a bloodthirsty pirate who murdered his entire crew. Okay. Speak with Stephanievian. That does not bode well for us. Is everything all right? Rostendahl tells me there are villains afoot, making trouble for the workshop. Yeah, they're passing on bad rumors about us. Intimidating my machinist, were they? Setting fires and spreading rumors? Joy, too, has overheard vile slander intended to defame our master of marksmanship. You took every care to choose the right employee, me lordship. We could do a lot worse than the former commodore of Limsa-Laminza's Barracudas. And now half of Ishgard thinks he's lying, and that he's a convict of terrible crimes. Stephanievian says, does someone seek to harm the manufactory's standing with these attacks upon our instructor's character? I'm sorry, Rostendahl, your association with the machinist has brought you naught but ridicule and insult. Don't blame yourself, boss. After all, more than half that stuff's probably true. They're going, whoa, what? I was the Commodore of the Cudas, right up until I got kicked out on me arse for making a bloody mess of things. That's why you found me in Camp Overlook. I was there to visit one of me old underlings. Of course, he'd rather take another axe to the face before he'd talk to me. Me mistakes cost me some more than others, and there's no bastard in Limsa-Laminza, there's no bastard in Lenosia as would call me friend. Your mysterious rival must have learned of me tarnished past, because they offered a fortune for me to accept the job as your master of marksmanship. I suppose they thought the workshop would be ruined once the truth behind me charming reputation became common knowledge. As it turns out, I don't take kindly to being some faceless bastard's puppet. So I took their coin and yours and made for the hills. I had no intention of fulfilling me contract. Not until your adventurer here went and got me fired up about teaching in truth. That said, there ain't naught in me agreement that says I gotta fight bleeding dragons, and me students will have a better showing without me there growling over their shoulders anyway. Stephanievian says, though his support will be missed, Rostenthal is mayhap correct in his assumption. Our demonstration will be all the more impressive for his absence. Let us check our weapons one last time and assemble its Skyfire locks. Yeah, I shot him. It's just a graze. You just did a slug shot. No worries. Close range, yeah. That's because Gav is only level 41 at this. This shall be the machinist's first engagement. We need every finger on the trigger. See to your tasks, Gav. Okay. Securing the locks, we gotta go over to securing the locks. Oh, Muriel the other day, a little stinker, started chewing on the corner of my new monitor. Just gaming, and all of a sudden I hear this weird noise, and I look down and she's like biting on the corner of the monitor. And I went, oh my god, she's gonna bite my new monitor and like break it. More importantly, she just like could get electrocuted. I didn't want that. And so I had to like quickly research how to get a kitten to stop biting monitors. And there's actually surprisingly a lot of information out there on Cats biting things they shouldn't. You know what? Why not do this fate? Down with you! Oh, here's some more. Hey, got somebody joining us on here. Fly over there. So I don't aggro all these critters here. Oh, I need to put health potions on my bar there. Whoops. Okay. We have a... Summoner is one of the easier ones. I think Machinist is pretty easy too. I think Machinist has like way more mobility. You're leveling Summoner like I level Black Mage through Wondrous Tales. Yes, I did. I got my Black Mage to level 100 doing Wondrous Tales. I think I started at like level 40-ish. I just find Black Mage really tedious to play because it's like, it's so slow, especially at lower levels, and it's like takes forever to kill stuff. And you have to stand still when you're casting, a lot of skills, and it's just, it didn't mesh well with my particular style of gaming. So I use the Wondrous Tales. You get a half level of XP every time you turn one in. So it probably took me, I don't know, what, a good like 2 years to level him to 100. All right, we got duty calls. Commence battle for securing the locks. Level sync is in effect. You are above the maximum allowed level, and it'll be synced as follows to level 44. Allow me to brief you on our defensive strategy ere the dragon and its minions arrive. Atop each of the 3 locks, we have placed a dragon-slaying cannon. Our task as machinists shall be to defend the cannons from as far as lesser kin. You will find a lock in the northeast. Locked in the northwest. And a lock to the south. I'll track the concentrations of our enemy and direct you to the cannon most in need of protection. Hark! The dragons are come! Everyone to your positions! Alright! Gav to the southern cannon, Joy to the northwest. We're gonna go... We have to keep the, keep the cannoneers alive. Foe swarms the cannon to the northeast. Joy, Gav, swiftly now. We're going to the right. No, we got to go to this one over here. Must stanch the wounds of the fallen. Uh-oh. Sfara's come. Okay, let's go kill Sfara. We want to try and keep her from hitting the other guys as much as possible, so if she focuses on us, even better. And we for sure want to stay out of that. We've won, Father. My machinists have carried the day. So you have to defend the 3 cannons, and then you have to go defeat Sfara. Well, Father, do you see now how we might prevail against dragons without risking the lives of our soldiers? 'Twas a most impressive display. I must admit your commoners acquitted themselves admirably. Pretentious noble, I thought I heard the terrible din of cannons being fired. And what do I hasten out here to find but the high-born Islandards frolicking in the snow with their low-born lackeys? Stephanevian is not impressed. After providing you with this opportunity to improve the ailing reputation of your noble house, does the consideration of House Zemail not merit a formal reply? Lord Tettlegrinch, my apologies. The foe was upon us ere we could put quill to parchment. Ah, yes, I imagine you were full occupied with scraping together a serviceable company of soldiers. If only your dear son was as ardent with his knightly training as he is with his idle tinkering. There is naught idle in my work. You would not speak such insults had you seen my machinist in action. Oh, such a temper! It would seem your association with commoners has eroded your manners as well as your martial skills. If you are so confident in these machinists of yours, mayhap you should enter them in the upcoming tourney? Mayhap I shall. Upon my oath, we will turn Ishgard's tradition-bound combat upon its ear. Its father's going, oh god. The Holy Sea's adjudicators will be most impressed when your lowborn rabble is chopped to pieces by the tested blades of noble champions. My son, what have you done? The tourney is a stage upon which is flaunted the might and mettle of our 4-grade houses. Only the finest knights are chosen to participate. Even with the aid of your machinist, our battered ranks stand little chance of victory. Must we now parade our shame before the highest echelons of the Holy See? Do not be so swift to dismiss our chances, Father. I give you my word, House Highland Art will leave the contest with its pride intact. And furthermore, should we win, I will have your word that you shall yield the running of the manufactory to me. Very well, my stubborn boy, and whether you win or no, you be sure to give House Smile a darn good pummeling. I shall see it done, Father. We will not disappoint you. Right, right. Every time you're doing something new, any new dungeon, if you've never done it before, it is hard to keep up. There's no question about that. But the reason some of us make it look easy is because we've done some of those dungeons, you know, a dozen times or more, and once you get to know it, it's like a dance you don't forget, right? The only thing that could be a challenge for melee is you have to know where to stand for flank and rear to maximize the DPS. I think the rotations are easy enough. That's one where it's not hard to pick up competency in those classes or jobs, I mean. But to play them at the top level requires, you know, very strict rotations. I think Bard's pretty easy. I think Machinist is easier because you don't have to worry about the buffs. Lancer, I think Lancer is easy enough to play decently. Dragoon is not easy to play it really, really well, like at the, you know, to master it. Yeah, the nice thing about Reaper is you don't have to worry about it quite as much, but I still have to think about it. And, you know, you get 2 charges of True North, which makes it a lot easier. But I think The positional issue is that you have to do a lot more positionals with Lancer than you do with any other jobs. Viper at least makes it kind of easy because red is rear and green is flank, right? So if you're hitting a red skill, you need to be rear, and if you're hitting a green skill, you need to be on the flank. That's sort of how I remember it. So you get that, color cue along with it. So, and Viper, you do have to maintain some buffs, but that's super easy to do just by doing the rotation. Ninja, oh my god, Ninja's a nightmare. I can't keep up with all the mudras. What was Rostenthal saying? You might not have seen me, but I was watching all the same. Them dragons didn't know what hit them. Joy says, I never thought I'd see the day the Count himself would give us his blessing. Yeah, by virtue of your undeniable expertise, my father has at last recognized the value of machinistry. But we cannot stop at but one hard-headed knight. This journey will be our opportunity to demonstrate to all and sundry the potential of our profession. Joyce says, Me lordship, if I may, it seems that Lord Tettlegrinch has a dislike for commoners such as me. If me presence will cause you more trouble, then maybe I should quit the manufactory. Rostenthal says, Pay no mind of that preening fop, lass. He's all piss and wind. Stephanie says, Aye, ever has Tettlegrinch sought to needle me in such a manner. 'Tis not you, my dear, that he despises. 'Tis the mingling of lowborn and highborn. House Samael is a powerful family, and their talent for the building of fortifications has brought them vast wealth and influence. Staunch allies of House Durandare, the Samaels have also been party to a number of significant victories. Thus do they stand at the peak of Ishgardian society, looking down their noses at any who do not share their noble pedigree. If you truly wish to please me, then I would have you shine your brightest in the tourney and wipe that arrogant smirk from his face. Shall we be on our way? All right, speak with Stephanievian at the Sky Steel Manufactory. Go back to Foundation. It took me a long time to get Reaper to the point I've gotten it. And it meant I had to print out the rotation. And I had to put it up on right where I could see it near my monitor. And I just had to hit those skills in order so I could figure out, when do I hit button 1? When do I hit button 7? When do I hit button 9? And I had to repeat it over and over and over again on a training dummy. Okay. If you really want to master a job, you really have to spend time on a training dummy so that you can get that skill pattern in order in your head and adjust your keys. More importantly, adjust your keys to the rotation that makes sense for you to hit those buttons, because the rotation that endgame requires is pretty static. Okay, and the balance has that rotation down, right? And they print it out in order, and they give you the pictures of the skills and everything, which makes it super easy. And even if you're not, level 100, at level 80, you're still using most of that rotation. So I'd highly recommend looking up the balance and printing out that rotation. And, I had to enlarge it to see it better because I didn't want to look at those tiny little squares, right? And I just had to go and do it slowly at first, right? I wasn't even trying to worry about GCDs at that point. I just said, I got to hit button 1 here. I got to hit button 4 here. I got to hit button 7 here. I had to hit, and I had to do it in a line. And once I got it down in that line, then I started speeding up with it. Okay. But until you have the actual rotation down, you're going to have trouble. There's just no two ways about it. That in any MMO, there's, except maybe ESO, I think. In most MMOs anyway, there is a set rotation that generates the maximum DPS, right? Because one skill will buff another skill will buff a third skill. And if you don't hit them in the correct order, you're not going to get those buffed skills, right? And for Reaper, it's all about maintaining your death design debuff, which, you know, hits every 30 seconds or so. You can... And I have to remember to refresh it, but I've had to train myself to look at the boss bar to see where my debuff is. And there's a little timer on it, right? So I know how many seconds left I've got on it. So it requires looking at different things. And so you have to adjust your screen on top of that to be able to see those debuffs. You got to be able to see the boss. You got to be able to see your rotation. Once you get your rotation down, you don't have to look at your bar as much either. Okay. I can just glance at my bar periodically. And when I'm in the middle of in Shroud, there are only about 3 buttons that I'm hitting. And I know those particular ones. So during Enshroud, I hardly have to look at my bar at all. So once you have that pattern rotation down, it makes it a zillion times easier. Yeah. I took a screenshot of it and then blew it up on GIMP. That's what I did. And I was glad when they finally put the name of the skills on there along with the pictures. That made my life easier. Your end game rotation tips from Mama Cat Gamer. But yeah, there's just no substitute to time, you know? And I think as newer players, we sometimes feel like, oh my god, I'm like doing nothing here. I'm not contributing at all. They're like wiping out the boss before I can even get through my first rotation. That's normal. I mean, if you're new to the fight and you're new to the class or job, it just takes longer to do everything. That's okay. The rotation, it's on the balance. If you Google the balance, BALANCE, FFXIV, you'll get a hit with that website. And they have everything separated out by job. All right. And that's the site I go to when it says, you know, what should your stats be, so that I know what materia to put in. Yeah, the balance. Let me see if I can find the website, actually. I might have it. I have it linked in my personal Discord, I'm pretty sure, in the guides. Oh, you know what? I got a bookmark. I have it bookmarked on my toolbar. But I'll put the link here in chat. There you go. Let me put it on YouTube while I'm thinking about it too. For those wondering about the balance site. There it is. They also have a Discord, which has the absolute up-to-date, most up-to-date rotations for the jobs and stats, but that's a theory crafting Discord. And I've been on a theory crafting Discord in Tor, and they can just be ruthlessly rude and nasty. So I tend to avoid those. Usually what I'll do is I'll go and say, you know, what's the latest rotation? I'll join the Discord. I'll look at the rotation. Then I'll leave the Discord. You know, I'll screenshot what I need. Because I don't... That level of toxicity that happens in some of those Discords is pretty high. I had... In the Tor Discord, I had somebody tell me that you can't do 28k DPS on an infiltration shadow. And I went, oh, really? I'm doing 29, right? And I had the stats to prove it. Oh, there's no parses on that. And so a couple of us actually went and posted our parses, and we single-handedly brought the average up. I think 3 of us posted our parses and brought the average up like 1,000% or 1,000 points of DPS, because the only people who had parsed that and loaded their parses were people who were still playing it at a lower level. So you have to keep that in mind too when somebody's putting parses up on FF logs. Some jobs are not being posted because they're not being played as much. All right, back to Stephanievian. All right, I must confess my misgivings to you, Gav. When queried as to our chances at victory, my prospectometer returned an unfavorable result. We triumphed over dragons, 'tis true, but such a battle has not prepared us to face coordinated parties of seasoned knights. My machinists are simply not ready. 'Tis fortunate, then, that the tourney is yet some days away. Let us keep such disheartening talk from our colleagues and continue to train them and ourselves for the contest ahead. All right. The next one will be available at level 45. Anyway, the balance, you can see on that link that I put there that they've got something listed for, they group it by role first, right on the front page. And then you just, for machinists, it's physical range, so you can click the physical range, and then I think there's like a drop-down list for machinist, and summoner's a magic range, so you'd go check the magic ranged role. And they'll give you the hang on, I gotta open my Diet Pepsi. They'll give you the rotation that you need. They'll tell you, you know, what you're looking at for armor, for stats. Since, you know, if you're at level 80 and capped there because of the free trial thing, you can look at what armor they recommend. I look at the stat numbers. I don't worry about trying to hit them exactly because I don't have the exact same gear that they have listed in best in slot, because that is Savage Ray gear, and I'm not going to be able to get Savage Ray gear. I probably could work at it and play at that level. But I did high-end raiding in Tor for several years, and I decided it was taking up too much of my life. So, and much as I loved raiding with the folks that I was raiding with, because it was so much fun, you know, there's other things I want to pursue now, right? You know, making some videos for my kids, right? So I'm reaching that point where you start thinking about legacies in your life. It is what it is, right? And I want to put together a bunch of cooking videos for them. I still need to edit my, I think it's my guacamole video for Easy Mode Kitchen. And then I just want to start filming when I'm cooking stuff, so that my kids have you know, a visual thing, and they got mom there talking to them. So that if, God forbid, I die anytime soon, I don't plan on that. But they'll have, you know, tangible memory, right? Not something I like to think about, but it's something you have to think about. Because we don't all live forever. All right, we have to speak with Euless again to accompany him. We're going to go back to Ilsabar, and we're going to continue our MSQ. Why unable to teleport at this time? Oh, that's because I was talking to the Ethernet shard. Oh my god. The opener is the literally what you open with. Yeah, right? I heard nothing. Opener is what you literally open the fight with. That's what they mean by opener. That's your very first 2 minutes, or very first round. Actually, they're talking about, when they're talking about opener, they're talking about what you can fit in this 20-second very first round where you're doing the absolute max DPS. Okay. So that's what they're talking about, the opener. And that's when you spike your DPS hard, as hard as you can. All right, we talked to these guys already. I'm gonna go talk to Euless somewhere around here. Elise says, "Where do you think their headquarters are? I assume there are a few others beside him and this commander he mentioned." Alphino says, "We will do only as instructed. After all, this is what we have been striving for ever since we arrived." Euless says, "All right, this is far enough. Listen carefully. We head over that hill, then follow the road until we reach Liminal Station 4. Children in the lead, I want you where I can see you." Elise says, "We do have names, you know. I'm Elise and he's Alphino. And last but not least, there's Gav." Euless says, "Gav, where have I heard that before?" No matter. Alphino and Elise will watch the road ahead while we bring up the rear. You know what? I think Final Fantasy XIV dungeons and trials and raids are more fun than tours. Although I do like the operations in tour a lot. I wasn't lying about there being many dangers, so you're to run, not saunter, run towards the station. If you even think about going for your weapon, the deal's off. Should any creatures bar the way, we go around them. Ready to make a dash for the station? Yeah. Alphino and Elsie set off at a brisk walk. If you want to learn about what you got to do here for following, you discover a new location. This must be the road he mentioned. If we follow this, it should lead to the station. This is like way easier as a level 100 tune. When I played this last time, Endwalker was the current expansion. And so the highest you could get was level 90, and even then you're going to aggro things because you're not 11 levels or higher. That's the station, I presume. Now they're not going to aggro everybody, so you can like run over this way and avoid those Jutoons. What do they have to say? We're here, I think. Alphino says. It's nothing like the ones in Thanalan. Well, that would be because Thanalan's a freaking desert. And here we're in, you know, the equivalent of the Russian steppe. Siberia. This is it. The first stop, that is. Good. It looks like your friends knew better than to follow us. Are these your headquarters? No, we're stopping here so I can check for pursuers. Since it appears you've kept to your side of the bargain, we can carry on. North of the station is Regio Domorum, one of the main residential areas, or at least it was. The afflicted roam the street in packs. They'll tear us to shreds if given the chance. Keep close. No wandering off. Understood? Yep. I don't know if it's Regio or Regio. I wonder what sort of conditions Euless and his comrades are living in. If they've any sense, they'll have picked somewhere like Victor's Spoils to take shelter. We're getting closer to the Imperial Palace, if one can still call it that. It truly is a terrifying sight to behold. Euless knows only too well that danger lurks around every corner. From here, we'll be heading northeast, keeping to the left of the railway. While the route itself is straightforward, getting past the hordes unseen is anything but. Keep your weapons at the ready. Alvino says, they would attack their own countrymen? Aye. They spare their own but slaughter the rest without hesitation. Though we'll try to avoid detection, the chances of sneaking by completely unnoticed are slim at best. I'll lead the way, but in the event we are seen, you're to fight them off. Those two will follow us, provided they can refrain from drawing their weapons. While I doubt they would be foolish enough to stab their guide in the back, I would not take a chance. With that said, let us proceed. Alright, so we have to run up to that area. To make sure we didn't have anything chat-wise in the other channel. Okay. It's nice not a... Yeah, right? You can go behind. Now, you wouldn't want to be, like, too close, like this, right? And they can turn around at any moment. But if you go behind them when you're going around, you can definitely get around a lot. You don't have to worry about, like, the cerulean spray, because you can see it's got that white icon, or blue, or whatever the hell it's called. The only ones you have to worry about are the red and yellow icon ones. So, like, here, you could, like, go around, take a wide berth around this dude, right? If you had to, kind of like that, right? Alright, let's go kill these dudes. The other thing is, when you're level 100, you can kill things a lot faster, too. God damn it, we are perfectly capable of holding our own. We must stay alert. I see why your comrades chose you. Euless, our contingent has a cure for the afflicted, or tempered as we call them. Your people would need to be taken into custody that we may administer the treatment, but they would eventually regain their sanity. Is that so? For all I know, your treatment would simply force them to forsake one master for another. As far as I and my legion are concerned, they are no longer our people. They're beyond saving. Those who thought differently and tried to reason with them were butchered for their bleeding hearts. Come, we have to keep moving. Okay. The other thing is you can, like, take your mount. Oh, but wait, there's more. Elfino has nothing to say there. I hate to watch you bear this burden alone. No problem, Elfino Nelsier. Looks like we're not being followed. We will continue onward. Like here you could come up behind this Evelyn trap, ice trap, and just go around like that. The surest way to limit casualties is to reach our destination without drawing attention to ourselves. Perhaps afterwards we can try again to convince Euless that the Tempered can be saved. Elise says he truly believes there's nothing that can be done for them. No wonder he isn't afraid to get his hands dirty. I meant what I said. These people deserve only death. I stayed my hand before only out of a desire to remain undiscovered. And that is still the higher priority. We should continue to avoid any unnecessary confrontations. Keep following the railway. If you're wondering where that aetheryte is, it's actually underground. Ah, here's a bunch of Eblin ice traps. Oh, nice. Oh, I missed where we were supposed to go. Oh, there they are. I didn't see them in between there. Like, totally rode by them. Such a transformation is likely irreversible. Oh, yeah, unfortunately, at that point. To think they were once ordinary people. He says, look at what they have become. Would you still stand there and claim that they can be cured? Yeah. Those exposed to a vast quantity of a primal's ether may suffer severe corruption. Even with treatment, such victims are beyond salvation. Then you admit it. Now that you have seen these monstrosities for yourself, perhaps you'll think twice before speaking of a cure. Well, we know that they can be cured. Oh, you know what? I haven't been, doing my ether compass. Where's my ether compass? I think I accidentally dragged it off my bar. Oh, I know what I did. The reason I don't have it is I copied this particular configuration. You can do configuration sharing now. It can only be done in a sanctuary, it says. Okay. Log ether currents. I gotta figure out where that thing is. I think it's key items, that's it. Or maybe not. Collection? There it is. It's under collection. Now you can drag it to the Hotbar there. I took it off Tyrion's hotbar because he doesn't need it anymore. 345 yalms to the northwest. I'm gonna go grab it while I'm here. We'll come back to them in a moment. 174 yalms to the northwest. Regio Form Soleus. I think it might be up top here. 65 yalms to the southwest. Ah, but it's up here. Well, we could see up here easier anyway. Oh, there it is. I knew it was up one of these ramps. $997 yalms to the west. Go way over that way. Regio Urbanissima. Even here in the outskirts, it's plain to see how vastly different Garlemald is compared to other cities. Though I wish there was another way, I thank you for keeping us from harm. We're almost there. You've kept your side of the agreement, so I will keep mine. This way. This is Tertium, one of Garlemald's largest stations. It now serves as our headquarters. I've already sent the twins ahead. I'll be with you soon, so wait for me at the bottom of the stairs. You have anything else for us? Go on down the stairs, like I told you. Or is this your first time into an underground station? They're all over Garlemald, even during severe blizzards. We could use them to travel from one end of the city to another. Back when they were still in operation, that is. Elise says, I had no idea they had such expansive structures built underground. It's plain to see why they chose this as their base of operations. They could have done a lot worse. Even so, I imagine it's not the easiest place to live. Indeed, and if Eulis was willing to make the perilous journey to Camp Broken Glass in search of food, their own supplies must be all but exhausted. They may be shielded from the wind and snow, but it's still bitterly cold. Much like Victor's spoils, it must be a constant struggle to keep their people warm. Lower your voices. While you may be here as my guests, the others will not take kindly to your presence. My commander is in the locomotive over there. wonder if we can attune to this etherite yet. Ah, it's not responding. Oh, but we got a little lookout point here. Oh, you've arrived at a vista recorded in your sightseeing log by using the emote lookout. And it gives you a little button to press. Oh, that's kind of cool. Tertium is the third station along the rail network that serves the imperial capital of Garlemald. Equipped as a dispatch yard with generators and other facilities, it was taken over and fortified by the remnants of the First Legion following the city's fall into ruination. Now, they said in this patch that they were changing how they were doing the emotes for the sightseeing logs. So now they give you, and you can't see it because I got my face cam covering the chat box, but they said you have arrived at a vista recorded in your sightseeing log by using the emote lookout. So they give you the spelling of the, but then they also give you this button that you can click. It brings up the emote panel, and then you can just click it, which is probably way easier for people on controllers. Lacey says, he certainly looks the part. Elfino says, now comes the true test. Imposing commander. I will deal with you in a moment.
These are their chosen representatives.
Very well. Let us hear what they have to say.
Yes, sir. I present to you our commander, Lord Quintus Vankina, Legatus of the First Legion.
The first? I had no idea you had survived.
We lost our emperor, our city, more than half our troops. For my wounds, I may never take the field again. But we survived, aye. In a manner much to your liking, I dare say.
Oh, you can hear the bitterness just dripping. I think that somebody who has lived their lives on the battlefield, losing the ability to be on the battlefield when your life is defined by that is devastating. On top of having survivor's guilt, if you survived and half your forces didn't, that is a big burden to carry.
We have no intention of adding to your misfortunes, nor do we bear you any ill will.
Spare me. Though you children may speak in earnest, overtures of peace ever ring hollow in my ears. So long as man stands to profit from his neighbor's suffering, war is inevitable. Driven from our ancestral homeland into this blasted waste. Yet still you yearned to rob us of our paltry scraps. 'Twas only with Magitech that you learned to keep your distance. Though we knew it was only a matter of time before you regrouped and returned. Conquest and Empire were our only defenses. Emperors Solus and Varys understood this, and through their campaigns saw us grow and prosper. Much blood has been spilled in Garlemald's name, aye. But if it is a choice between yours and mine, then it is hardly a choice at all.
Of course, he doesn't know that Solus was not who he thought he was.
I do not deny that a great many conflicts throughout history were driven by the desire or necessity to gain by another's loss. That is not why we are here. Nor have we come to petition your aid in the war with the Telophoroi, grave though that threat may be. Our purpose is simply this. We wish to help you. Let us help you. If there is aught that can be done to ease your plight, we would be glad to do it.
Perhaps you would. But regardless of the ideals you espouse, your leaders would not send an army into Garlemald if they did not stand to benefit. If we accept their aid, they will expect their efforts to be rewarded once the Telophoroi are no longer a threat. And after compensation and concessions, the great empire would be brought to heel. Her enemies rejoice at her downfall. Our third eye, a mark of shame.
We won't stand idly by and let your people be humiliated. And we're not alone in that. We only want to make a difference, to make this world of ours better. Surely you can understand that. What I'm trying to say is, there are so many people who just don't care about making you suffer. And maybe that's almost insulting after all the suffering you feel the world has subjected your people to, but believe it or not, that's the truth. And now we're here, and all we're asking is for you to tell us what you want, what you hope for.
So much blood has been shed, so much lost. All because of this endless war. Who wouldn't want to end it? Can we not work together to face our problems as one?
Answer me this, young peacemakers. If a world without conflict is your desire, why reject the unity and prosperity of Garlemald?
That's a good question.
Is it because we do not share your faith? That we do not share your heritage? That our ideals and virtues differ? That we cherish and hold in the highest that which you do not?
But, the obvious answer is you don't want to live in tyranny, right? And the authoritarian nature of Garlemald is anathema to people who believe in freedom, right?
Disparity is the root of discord, and peace built on compromise is flawed and fleeting. Happiness for one and all is a dream, and the reality is that to the victor go the spoils. That is why we Garleans will never submit nor surrender. For freedom and for pride, we will remain true to ourselves until the bitter end. That is my hope.
Ooh. Neither of the twins are happy about this.
Seems there is nothing more to say on the matter. You will remain here while I decide what is to be done with you. Do not be alarmed. No harm will come to you if you cooperate.
We will not resist. However, as your guests, I ask that we be allowed to speak with the other members of your group.
As you wish. I had no intention of locking you up, as by dawn you would be frozen stiff and you're no good to me dead. You are free to move about the encampment, but there is one condition. Collar them.
What are these?
Incentive. You'll be watched at all times. Stray too far or act suspiciously, and we will administer a rather painful shock.
Oh, it's like Star Wars shock collars. Great.
Stop! Keep away from that one. The champion of Eorzea is not so easily cowed. Even if he allowed himself to be collared, the shock would be no more than an itch. No. If he refuses to obey, we will activate the twins' restraints instead.
Ooh. He knows how to get to Gav.
You needn't worry about us.
We'll forget we're even wearing them soon enough.
Even now, you still... Why go to such lengths? What is it all for?
Survival of the planet. Because even the most bitter adversary may one day see reason. Or on the coldest, blackest of nights, meager though it may be, we must share the warmth of our fire. Well, let's do that one. Oh.
You are a curious one. A far cry from the merciless barbarian others paint you to be. You will be their warden. Take them away.
Yes, sir.
Gav's a good kitty, yes. The Quintus is smart. Obvious how he got to be, you know, the head of Legion. He knows that Gav physically is, you know, super strong. So, how do you get to him? You get to his heart first. At least I have to remind myself not to touch it, even if it starts to itch. I'd rather not set it off by accident. Anyway, enough about that. Let's learn what we can from the refugees. Elfino says, it will take more than a trifle such as this to deter us. Yeah, just don't get him mad, right? Compared to what Garlemald's people have suffered in recent days, these collars are a minor inconvenience. Eulis has his orders, unpleasant though they may be. Yeah, he doesn't want to be the warden. As per Lord Quintus's instructions, I am to supervise you during your time here in Tertium. Before you ask, no, I don't have a key or any other means to remove your collars, nor would I tell you if I did. And if you try anything, you'll soon wish you hadn't. So, do you truly intend to speak with the others, or was that merely a ruse? Alfino says, we're in no hurry to disobey Lord Quintus, if that's what you mean. Or perhaps you doubt the wisdom of his decision? Eulis has to think about that one, because he does doubt Lord Quintus's orders, but he can't say that, right? Because you cannot, in Garlemald, ever doubt your superior's orders. Do as you will, but remember I'll be watching. If I catch wind of you doing anything untoward, trying to trick our people into turning their coats and the like, those shock collars will be the least of your worries. Understood? Though we're somewhat compromised, to put it lightly, let's not waste this opportunity. I suggest splitting up and learning what we can of their situation, and above all else, don't use magics of any sort. You, on the other hand, may go wheresoever you wish, even outside the camp. I know full well I couldn't stop you if I tried. But do not forget, if you do anything to endanger us or our interests, Alfino and Alize will pay the price. You have anything else? You heard what I said. Don't make me repeat myself. Is this... Nope. Still not available. What does Octavia have to say? It's you, Gav, Tia. I served under Lord Gaius in the 14th Legion. I was there on the night the Praetorium fell. You and your adventurers, you killed them, my comrades, my friends, swept them aside in their dozens as though they were nothing to you. And maybe I am too, just another faceless enemy to be cut down. But it won't be long until our countrymen return, until you get what you deserve. Mark my words. Okay. I was ready to abandon all hope until I saw you. You, soon, very soon, will make you pay for every life you've taken. Sabinianus. So cold. This young soldier is on the verge of losing consciousness. Arcellinus. I know who you are, the so-called champion of Eorzea. Come to gloat, have you? I'll wipe that smirk off your face. By the blood of our fallen compatriots, I swear I'll... Ugh. Damn, tore the sutures. Of all the times, the worst of the lot within striking distance, and I can't even muster the strength. If it weren't for the third bleeding us, we'd be the end of you. Virgilia's treachery nearly cost Lord Quintus his life, but we made our escape. Took shelter in a mansion, tended to the wounded as we prepared to strike back, and then night fell and we gathered around the radio. Then the roar, the terrible roar. The capital was in chaos, but we were spared. If you can call this a mercy, mind intact but body broken, a soldier in name alone. Cut you down where you stand if I could, murderer. Edutech radio. This radio is the same model as the one used at Victor's Spoils. Perhaps it is what saved the soldiers here from being tempered. Kaiso. You came with Euless, didn't you? Well, whatever business brought you here, you'd best keep your hands off that aetherite. It's deactivated, but I'd rather you didn't mess about with it. There are others throughout the city, built by Garleans for Garleans. Could teleport all over in the blink of an eye, provided there was a terminal nearby. These days, however, we use the aetherite's power to keep this place lit, though that comes at the cost of its normal function. Aha! Did Quintus have anything else? I've made my position quite clear. Do not test my patience. Tell me, where does it hurt? Does Alice have to say? So cold and probably hasn't had a proper meal in days. If only we'd brought some food with us. Perhaps I could use a little magic to... No, I mustn't. Gods, this is so frustrating. Oh, I can see Alice being totally frustrated by that. Did you learn anything of note? And your findings are consistent with my own. Their plight is desperate indeed. The sick and injured are at greatest risk. Without warmth and proper nutrition, I fear they will soon perish. I realize there is precious little we can do for them at present, but I cannot bear to see them suffer. Please, will you help me tend to them? Yep, we will. Because that's what we do. Flavius. Who's there? My eyes, they can't see all that well. Oh, thank you. The numbness has subsided a little. But I know it won't last much longer. You should look to the others who can still fight. Give them my ration. If me going hungry means someone else lives to see another day, so be it. At least I can still serve in that way. Those you met fare no better? I was afraid you would say that. I know we were warned against meddling in their affairs, but we can't leave them like this. Perhaps we might gain permission to have the contingent deliver supplies? Quintus may have made his feelings on the matter quite clear, but even he must recognize they are not in a position to refuse help. Maybe Euless could persuade him, though we'd need to persuade Euless first. Right? He wouldn't. You're right. He'd like ease on him at this point and they'd fall over. Well, seen enough. Euless, the people here have barely enough food and fuel to survive. Have you and the other soldiers been able to procure any more supplies? We've been scavenging provisions from the nearby houses, as most families kept some stored away in the event they were snowed in. Still, going out and getting it is dangerous work, and we've a lot of mouths to feed. Fuel is the greater concern, though. We have some ceruleum set aside, we had some ceruleum set aside until it was stolen. We haven't identified the culprit. Could have been other refugees or one of the afflicted, for all we know. Either way, we're down to the last dregs. Without the heating they need, those in poor health are only going to get worse instead of better. If it's ceruleum you need, our contingent has secured a ready supply. We can have some sent over. We will not accept your charity. We can hold on a little longer. The situation is sure to change. Aye, everything will change. What will you say? One of your comrades mentioned something along those lines. Those mysterious countrymen of yours, I assume. Gav's gonna needle him a little. Heard something of it, have you? Well, from what I've seen, there's little you could do to interfere, so there's no harm in telling you. One of our scouts spotted a hooded man issuing instructions to the afflicted, or in the bastard's words, loyal servants of the Telophoroi. Then he made his way inside the Imperial Palace, or what stands in its place. We've identified the seat of the enemy's power, we realized. Lord Quintus dispatched a messenger to the 10th Legion saying as much and instructing them to join forces with the provincial legions to prepare for a combined assault on the Telophoroi. Once our allies arrive, your contingent will be sent running for the hills. Then we shall reclaim the capital by our own hand. And how do you intend to survive in the meantime? At this rate, many of your countrymen will perish long before reinforcements reach Garlemald. They need help now. Say the word and we will bring you your ceruleum. I will speak with Lord Quintus. So, did he agree to it? No, he will not place Garlemald in the debt of her enemies. I have, however, been ordered to search for ceruleum outside. As you are under my watch, you will come with me. Very well. After all, many hands make light work. You lot are more trouble than you're worth. Once we are outside, you will follow my instructions to the letter. We depart shortly. Persona non grata. Yeah, you killed my friends, but you don't think about, well, you know, we could say the same. No, but they've been conditioned to think that they were doing it for the good of Garlemald, right? So when you convince people that it's, you know, it's for the good, that's how you get people doing what they do. Without our healing magics, there's little we can do for these people beyond offer words of encouragement. But this way, we'll be able to offer some tangible assistance. Elfino says, although this is hardly the solution we had in mind, it will have to suffice for the time being. Ulysses finds himself in the somewhat bizarre position of leading ambassadors of an enemy contingent on a salvage mission. We will begin our search for ceruleum in Regio Urbanissima. The first location is Forum Soleus, a park to the northwest of the station. You are to remain close at all times and act only as ordered. Follow me. Excuse me. This is the place, says Ulysses. To think this macabre graveyard for war machina was once a park. So, this is the park. I'm surprised they found space for one amongst all these buildings. Actually, the recreational areas came first. The houses were later built around them. A healthy society requires communal spaces for children to play and adults to socialize. This park was named after the founding father of the emperor, the great Solus Zosgalvus. Did we come to extract ceruleum from the wrecked Magitech armor? No, we've already drained it dry. Same goes for the rest of the machina in the vicinity. But as our ceruleum has been stolen, we must scour the city for every last drop. And while I don't expect to find anything here, I've decided to try one more time in case something has been overlooked. I see. Then, with your permission, we will commence the search. Cursory inspection of the wrecked Magitech armor confirms that the fuel canisters have long since been drained of ceruleum, as Ulysses said. Elfina says, I don't imagine there would be much need for Magitech in a park of all places, but then again, I wasn't raised in Garlemald. They may have uses for ceruleum that I've yet to consider. They used them as lemonade stands and hot dog vendors. This, whatever it is, appears to have some sort of symbolic meaning relating to this statue. Even though the place is named after Solus, it doesn't seem to be a statue of him. Well, at least not anymore. Maybe it was once a fountain, or somewhere the man himself used to sit. Not that it would matter, even if we knew, but I can't help wondering. Forum Soleus, it was in this square that Emperor Solus inspected his troops before embarking upon his second campaign into the Far East. The Imperial legions were ultimately successful in their subjugation of the Kingdom of Dalmasca, and officials celebrated the grand victory by transforming the parade ground into a commemorative public park. Too bad we can't slide here. That would be fun. The contraption is built in the style of Imperial war machina, armed with a battery of weapons and capable of transforming into different configurations, but on closer inspection, it appears to be no more than a children's slide. Okay. I don't think we ever saw what the areas looked like before it got ravaged, no. I don't think we'll find... I think we're outside of the circle. Wonder if there's anything up top. Oh, there it is over there. A shop counter. No, they're what they were saying was, you know, you initially thought it was something that could turn into weapons, right? But then you realize it's just a slide. Though rather small by Garlean standards, the structure is reminiscent of a merchant stall. Perhaps it was built for children to play at shopkeeper. There's nothing inside resembling Magitech or any other devices that would be fueled by ceruleum. Oh, of course, it's up the other ramp. Map of Forum Soleus. Several points of interest are marked on the map of Forum Soleus. The pond, children's play areas. To your knowledge, however, none would require the use of ceruleum. Alright, back to Euless. Oh, it's you. Any luck? There's no sign of any ceruleum. Hardly surprising, but disappointing nonetheless. I couldn't help noticing you gazing at the pond. Is something the matter? What? Yes, I mean, no, It's just, I used to bring my brother and sister here to play. The pond was heated to stop it from freezing over, so like all the other children, they just had to wade in and splash about. Would have stayed there if I didn't drag them out. We'd be sopping wet when all was said and done. Every time. And every time when we'd get home, Mother would scold us, saying we'd catch our death walking around like that. The pond was heated. With a ceruleum-powered heater, by chance? I suppose it must have been. Come to think of it, I remember seeing engineers changing out a tank beneath a hatch. That was a long time ago, when the water still flowed clear and wasn't this brackish muck. We can't see a thing, and I can't remember where the hatch might be. With the machinery most likely broken, the amount of filth in there is probably the only reason it hasn't frozen over. I'd wager it's still unbearably cold, though. Euless, what are your thoughts on magic? The average Garlean would jump out of their skin if they saw it, but the first has a few foreign signiferi and medici, so it doesn't scare me. And I take it you won't mind if I employ a little now? Elfino, as you have a knack for finding dry wood, why don't you bring me some? Once that's done, a blast of her fire should do the trick. Leave it to me. You're not planning to go in there, are you? Of course I am. That tank isn't going to fetch itself. It's nothing so involved as extracting unprocessed ceruleum from a frozen lake like how the tappers do it. We're talking about a shallow pond in a park, and we have a way of warming ourselves up after. But that's insane. So, fancy a dip? A little friendly competition makes things interesting. The last thing we need is you catching a cold, or step aside while I drink the pond dry. That way we'll find it in no time. I think he would say the last thing we need is you catching a cold. If you're that concerned for my well-being, you can dive in and help me look. The quicker we find that ceruleum, the sooner we can get out of there. You're going, what? Alright. I think you get a debuff if you go in the water, right? Or maybe not. Beneath the water, your fingers catch on what you think might be a handle. Yay! We didn't have to go and look at all 5 other things. You open the hatch and retrieve a ceruleum tank. I actually forgot that it was there. I had a vague idea that it was. Oh no! However, your grand discovery comes at a great personal cost as you become acutely aware of the freezing cold and a rancid odor emanating from every ilm of your body. Euless will doubtless feel compelled to pinch his nose shut when you deliver to him your prize. Elise. You found it? Huh, there must be another one around. Here somewhere. Did you find anything? I hope you did. Temperature regulator ceruleum tank uncovering hidden treasure is an adventurer's bread and butter, though one is not normally required to go elbow deep in ice-cold, stagnant pond water to retrieve it. Nevertheless, many would choose that over mowing down hordes of slavering beasts or solving annoying puzzles. That's it, and there's still some ceruleum left. Oh, the fire's still not ready. Hold on, I'll give Alpino a hand. Call me an Uldan, because by fire I am reborn, and my clothes are mostly dry now, too. I appreciate you recovering the ceruleum, but I wish you'd taken the time to discuss the plan with me beforehand. Despite the way you've been treated, in Lord Quintus's eyes, you're still envoys deserving of protection. If you were to die on my watch, he would be most displeased. Actually, Euless would probably be killed if something happened to him. Quintus doesn't seem like the guy who would accept that kind of grave error. Elise says, your concern is duly noted, but all's well that ends well. Elvino says, Euless, you mentioned coming here with your younger siblings. Did you grow up in Garlemald? I did, not far from here. My father was an accomplished researcher in his youth, and for his contributions to the Empire, a warden and estate. We lived well, better than many. What was Garlemald like in those days? Everything. It was everything you could imagine and so much more. Even during the coldest winters, we always found warmth and comfort at home. Coming in from the snow, taking off your coat and sitting down for a hot meal with family. Visiting friends and relatives, receiving that same welcome, knowing they had everything they needed. Yeah, there is nothing like coming in from a freezing cold day below 0 weather into a warm house and, you know, there's a warm stew on the table. It's great. Visiting friends and relatives, receiving that same welcome, knowing they had everything they needed. Walking down the street, seeing the lights in all the houses, hearing the faint sounds of laughter and song, of happiness. And although the summers came and went all too quickly, in that brief respite, the ice would melt and the forgotten grass make its triumphant return. Gray clouds gave way to blue skies. Some mornings we'd climb to the top of the tallest building we could find to watch the sunrise. Never again. Those rooftops are rubble, those friends dead, and those memories. But if I could reclaim even a fraction of what we once had. soon our chance will come. We just need to hold on a little longer. Who wants to tell him? It wasn't... I can understand the misunderstanding because it was worded kind of weirdly, Shelly. So don't feel bad about that. Alright, Alfino. Owing to the wealth of experience I've accrued in gathering firewood, I was even able to provide Euless with some basic pointers on the subject. I thought it might help to further build a rapport and to distract him from his other concerns. Well, at least my clothes are finally dry, though they could still do with a proper wash. I bet they stink. If you've ever been in brackish pond water, the smell is horrible. I haven't been in one, but I've been near one. Ugh. It's just nasty. Now that the fire is burned out, Euless is ready to move on. Alright. Now that you've recovered from your escapades in the pond, there's another location I'd like to search just outside the park. The Warband appears to be patrolling the area of its own volition. I wonder whether it is simply following its original orders, or if it now serves the Telophoroi. That's a good question. Everything was built on an enormous scale, and with thick, cleanly cut stone, much like Amarat. Given what we now know, such similarities are no coincidence. As you can see, this place is littered with the remnants of various types of war machina. While my comrades and I have already recovered the tanks from the less damaged units, those that took a more severe beating are harder to scavenge. We decided to save those for another time, that time being now. Rather than piece them apart piece by piece, it would be quicker to remove the outer casing using compact explosives. With luck, we'll gain access to the tanks without rupturing them. Though the force generated by those devices is relatively weak, I would advise you to stand well clear to avoid being hit by any shrapnel. Before even bothering, though, you should check the machina's ceruleum gauge to see if there's any left. It should still provide an accurate reading even when the unit itself is inactive. If the gauge is broken, I'll let you decide whether to use an explosive or not. Should you need more, come to me. Understood. Let's get to work. Alright. According to the ceruleum gauge, this is empty, so we're not going to use any bombs on it. Bet this one's empty too. The gauge appears to be broken, giving you no way to determine how much fuel its tank may hold. You know what? Why not? You know what? Let's come back to it. Ceruleum gauge in this unit appears to have been broken. Okay. Well, you know what? Let's go for it. After successfully removing the war machina's outer casing and retrieving the ceruleum tank, you find it to be completely empty. Oh, that sucks. We chose poorly. Ceruleum gauge is broken. Let's see if we can find one that doesn't have a broken gauge. It says it's empty. I guess we're gonna use it on the Stridham. You retrieve the war magnet ceruleum tank to find it is still half full or half empty, depending on one's perspective. Either way, Euless will surely be pleased by your discovery. More explosives? Wait, is that what I think it is? Did this tank survive the attack that disabled the war mechanism in which it was installed? It also escaped the blast of your explosives unscathed. If medals for outstanding service were awarded to inanimate objects, this champion among ceruleum tanks would surely deserve one. You've done it again. Truly, luck is on your side. With this, we should be able to refuel quite a few of our heaters. It's time we headed back. Wait here while I go and see how Alize and Elfino are faring. We're gonna have a cutscene here probably, so. I don't know if I have any battle coming up. Some mate cookies just on the off chance.
Finally escaped the watchful gaze of your keepers, have we? Don't react. You'll only draw attention to yourself. Just carry on as you are and listen. After you left with the Garlean lad, Lucia bade a few of us scouts follow you at a discreet distance. We observed you being led into the station, but decided against venturing inside. When you emerged sometime later, and we saw that the twins were sporting Magitech collars, it was clear what had taken place. Now, as quietly as you can, tell me everything. The Legatus himself, eh? Now there's a surprise. This is also the first I've heard of a plan to join forces with the 10th and storm the Tower of Babel. An interesting development, and perhaps the opportunity we've been waiting for. Our comrades back at the camp also received some rather promising news, but it's still too early to get our hopes up. For now, keeping yourselves out of harm's way comes before all else. Whatever demands the Garleans make, indulge them. With luck, this will all be over soon. Until then.
They had not gone far.
We searched high and low, but no luck, I'm afraid. I might have guessed you'd be the only one to find anything.
I wasn't expecting much to begin with. Eventually, there will be nothing left out here for us to safely salvage. For now, this will have to suffice. We should return to the station.
Ah, there you are. Heard you'd gone hunting for ceruleum above ground. Brought back a king's ransom?
Hardly. But thanks to these three, we have enough to last a little while longer.
Well, well. It's not at all as I was expecting, these ones. For savages, they seem positively docile.
Ellie says, just watch me.
It's a poor attempt at humor. In all honesty, I'm grateful for your efforts. But even with another night of warmth, there are those among us who may not live to see the morrow.
I trust your expedition was fruitful.
Lord Quintus!
Use what you procured to refuel the armor.
Oh, no.
But, sir, what about the heaters for the camp?
The time for action is upon us. My men and I have matters to discuss. In the meantime, you are to wait here. Do not forget, you are being watched.
I struggle to understand why Quintus would make that decision, but I'm...
The time for action. What did he mean by that?
I can only speculate. Clearly something requiring their magitech, given what we just heard. Whether they plan to utilize it now, or after they join with the 10th, is another question. Will they ever escape this cold? Return to and reclaim the idyllic spaces of which Eula spoke?
Finished your war, Council?
sarcasm there.
Alphino and Alizé are to stay here as our prisoners. They will be released once your comrades have relinquished their supplies and withdrawn from Garlean soil. Until our terms are met, they will be detained at a separate location.
Oh, he means to take the Camp Broken Glass back. That's what he's wanting to do.
After everything we've said and done, this is how you treat us.
Yep.
Our allies have but limited supplies. They may stave off cold and starvation for a short while, but what then?
For now, keeping yourselves out of harm's way comes before all else. Whatever demands the Garleans make, indulge them.
Everything will be alright. Have faith. And then the twins look at each other. Whoa. I wonder what that means.
Get them out of here.
Alfino and Alize will be fine, providing they do not resist. Once again, Euless has been entrusted with an unenviable task. You will accompany back to your camp. You will accompany me back to your camp, where I will meet with your leader and present Lord Quintus's demands. Before we depart, however, there is something I would ask of you. Assuming your contingent complies, the supplies they surrender will need to be transported here. That task falls to Legionnaires Marcellinus and Octavia, who will pilot Magitech armor to your headquarters. You are to inform them that we are leaving shortly. Tell them to ask the ill for further details, in those words. Once you've seen to that, meet me by the exit. Okay. When did I live when so many others? I don't know if it's Marcellinus or Marcellinus. You again. Ask the ill, he said? Oh. So that's to be the way of it, after all this. How ironic that you should be the one to deliver the news. If those are my orders, then so be it, for the glory of Garlemald. What do you want with me? Ask the ill, so Lord Quintus has reached a decision. I knew he would understand, that he would recognize the savage as a ruthless, merciless creature, and to defeat him we too must be uncompromising. I am ready in the name of Emperor Varus, for the glory of Garlemald, I will fulfill my duty. Alia Jacta Est. You know what? I forgot what that means. I actually looked it up the other day. So I wanted to check the pronunciation, first of all. Alia Jacta Est is the famous Latin phrase translated as the die has been cast. It signifies passing a definitive point of no return and fully committing to a high-stakes decision where the outcome is now left to chance. Supposedly, Julius Caesar said those on July 10th or January 10th, 49 BC. Caesar was commanding an army in Gaul, which is now France, when the Roman Senate ordered him to disband his troops and return to Rome. Defying those orders, Caesar led his legion across the Rubicon River. The river marked the legal boundary of his province. Crossing it with armed troops was an act of treason that ignited the Great Roman Civil War. So when you hear somebody saying crossing the Rubicon, that's what they're talking about. It's point of no return. Okay, we got to speak with Euless. Have you done as instructed? The duties involve more than the transportation of supplies, don't they? Or what do you mean by ask the ill? I want to know that one. I'm not at liberty to divulge that. What I can say is this. You have no cause for concern if our demands are met. You and I are in this together now. Like it or not, we have to cooperate. There's one other matter, a place I'd like to visit. On the way to your camp. It's a short walk from here. Follow me. Wait at the specified location. Give me a moment, please. Uh-oh. I'm betting this is his house. Sure. Jesus lingers by the ruins, reluctant to leave and reluctant to stay, unable to move on. The Black Rose got destroyed.
This is my home. Our home. At least it was, until that night. I was with Lord Quintus when the capital fell, and thus spared. My family, who did not own a radio, were less fortunate. When dawn came, I made my way here. My parents, my little brother and sister, they were still inside. But they weren't themselves, and they tried to. And I had to.
Oh my god. What a horrible position to be in.
I'd promised to take them away from the capital that very morning, to somewhere safe, to hide until the fighting stopped. I promised. The Garlean flag bears a chain, the bonds between our countrymen. A red link at its center, the blood of the fallen. Our loved ones who lived and died for Garlemald. But if she too fell, who would be left to remember them and their sacrifice? What enduring proof would there be that they were ever here? If we had turned to your gods, would they have saved us? I'm sorry, forget I spoke. We should go.
It's no use. Believe me, I do not enjoy being here any more than you. But he wanted us to play along, so that is what we will do. It's so cold. Painfully so. Unbearably.
I've been thinking about what Quintus said. About why no one would accept Garlean rule. Irreconcilable differences. When coexistence isn't an option, only conquest remains. Varys at Gimlet said much the same. Only by uniting the world beneath a single standard would we rid ourselves of the Ascians. United as one people. One race cleansed of imperfections. A cold and unforgiving vision. And when we fail to live up to their standards, what place is there for us in their world? But the truly sad truly frustrating thing is how damnably similar it all is to the lofty ideals of Father and the Forum.
Like something went wrong with the stream on Twitch. Oh, are we back? Okay, we're back. Good. I didn't want to advance.
Non-intervention. Always non-intervention. Protect our knowledge and our people, and to hells with the rest of you. And yet, I can see how it happened. Varys and Father looked to their elders for guidance and took their virtues as their own. But for this world was of their making. In who else could they place their trust? All of us lost in a sea of chaos, searching desperately for purpose and meaning. But it shouldn't just be an extension of another's. It has to be ours. It has to be. We all have a stake in this world. No one should be silenced.
I won't deny that we lack the experience of people such as Father or Quintus. Perhaps they've come to see the world as a series of problems, and the most efficient way of solving them, to reduce everything to fundamental forms. A stone is a stone, a cloud, a flower, no more than that. Simple descriptions that strip the subject of distinguishing characteristics. A man is a man, divided according to race, creed, or allegiance, and to some, defined by such associations.
I don't know if you can hear the background piano on this. Pianist is amazing. Just amazing.
Is that what you think?
In my misbegotten youth. But what I believed wisdom was no more than aggressive ignorance.
I said that the pianist, the lady who plays the piano, her skill is just amazing. Just absolutely exquisite. I played piano for like a year in college. And, even after a year, I was still playing very basic stuff compared to this. The things she does with her arpeggios and stuff like that are just wonderful. Misbegotten youth. Well, Alfino, his youth was not that misbegotten, right? Yeah, right. They still are. I think they're what's canon. They're 16 or something like that. But he says, what I believed wisdom was no more than aggressive ignorance. Well, the problem with youthful wisdom is there's not a lot of it. I wouldn't go so far as call it aggressive ignorance.
I've since learned to look beyond the banners and the politics. To see people as individuals with their own hopes and dreams.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know how old they would be in Endwalker.
As for my dream of building a better world, well, Every day I'm reminded that it is far more complex than I had ever imagined.
Although, to be fair, they had gone on several years ahead in the first. So mentally or cognitively, they're several years older, but their bodies might still be considered 16.
But it only spurs me onward. To find the wisdom and the strength to see it through to the very end.
All of our supplies and an immediate withdrawal. These are your conditions?
Lucia's not impressed. Not impressed at all.
Demands. And you forgot about the airship. Once again, you will leave one behind. It will be used to return the prisoners. Their collars will be removed prior to the exchange.
So in the end, not even Father's expertly worded rhetoric could deter you from your chosen course.
Huh?
Not that I thought for a moment that it would. I've no love for violence, of course, but ours is a cause worth fighting for. I just wish he'd realize it too. Sometimes the only way to protect the ones you love is to take a stand. To refuse to suffer in silence. I want you to know I share your conviction. Whether it be on the battlefield or in the debating chamber, I won't back down. I guess what I'm saying is...
You've found your own reason to fight.
Yes. Yes, I have. God's willing, there will come a day when we can finally lay down our arms, and there will be peace. But not until the Telophoroi have been defeated once and for all. And you, brother, will have a vital part to play. By your words and deeds, you'll lead the way.
I pray I am up to the task.
There'll always be naysayers. Those who think us fools for even trying. It's easy for learned elites to criticize earnest efforts and assert their moral superiority, all without offering alternatives. Not that their sophistry has ever wounded you. So stubborn and strong. Stronger than you even know. Don't ever change, you hear me? If you stumble, I'll be there to catch you. Or give you a thick ear. Maybe both, for good measure.
She's meaning she's gonna bop him in the ear to make it thick, right?
Thank you, Alice.
Oh. Justinian.
The scouts have secured Alize and Alfino. Their collars were removed without complication as well. They report no casualties, not for their party nor the guards, who will wake from their premature slumber in due course.
It would appear the situation has changed.
Oh,
I propose new terms. We have information that will be of great interest to Lord Quintus, and I wish to speak with him in person.
No. In the event you rejected our first proposal, we came prepared with a second.
Ambush!
More are coming! Make ready!
We, the loyal soldiers of the First Legion, proud servants of Garlemald, of the fallen Emperor Varys, shall safeguard these lands from the barbarian hordes until our countrymen return! Stop, both of you!
This child may be the worst emissary I have ever seen.
We received an urgent communication from the Grand Company of Eorzea. Envoys from the Imperial Army, led by members of the 10th Legion, came to Alamigo and requested an audience. They explained that their efforts to coordinate the reclamation of the capital with the aid of the 4th, 5th, 8th, and 12th had ended in failure. Communication between most legions has broken down entirely. Most of the 10th's conscripts have deserted, leaving their forces severely depleted. That is why, unable to continue the fight on their own, they and their allies turned to the Grand Company of Eorzea for aid.
Lies! Every word!
It is the truth, and I have not finished. The 10th has requested that we deliver a message to Lord Quintus. Have the ill stand down.
You have been listening, my lord? What are your orders?
If you're sensitive to self-harm, this may be a good spot to take a break.
Inform her that we will honor the 10th's decision. Bereft of hope, and now dignity. I release you from your duty. All of you. I take solace, your radiance, in the knowledge you are not here to witness our debasement. 'Twas a grand, glorious dream we shared. Of a world united, of peace and prosperity. We are ghosts, you and I, memories of days gone by. Bonds forged in blood that I will not see tarnished.
Quickly! We have to reach the station before it's too late.
If there is still a chance that Quintus will agree to a truce, we must take it.
I just hope we get there before he and his men do something rash.
We will make no attempt to resist. Okay. Lucia says, much and more has occurred since last we met. As for determining what comes next, we must speak with Lord Quintus. Strange bedfellows. Oh, yeah, that is a very dark scene, and that's why I gave the warning I gave. And unfortunately, there's certain words you can't say on YouTube without getting a strike. So I have to be very, very careful of what wording I used. With the immediate crisis averted, and Lucia seeks to gain a clearer understanding of the present situation. Before we proceed, tell me what you know of the First Legion and the disposition of their forces. They were preparing for war while the refugees in their care were left to go hungry? A reckless, short-sighted plan that risks the welfare of the people they are sworn to protect. Nevertheless, we cannot compel them to accept our aid. If we were to arrive in force with the intent to do so, we would only incite panic, but perhaps they can be persuaded to follow one of their own. Go with Euless back to the station and have him lead the refugees here. Some may be unwilling or unable to leave, but for the time being, I'll take what I can get. Alfino, Alize, and the scouts sent to extricate them should already be at the station. I will also have our other comrades in the area lend their support should it be needed. Ulysses, understood. I will have food and bedding prepared for the refugees. Getting them here safely, however, is my immediate concern. Ooh, let's go talk to the gemstone trader. Air may be chilly, but I've got some great deals on rare items that are sure to warm the cockles of your heart. All I ask for in return are bicolored gemstones. What do you say? Right, we now have access to this. If you need to buy Ovabos milk for certain recipes, this is a place you can buy it quickly and easily. Otherwise, you can go kill a bunch of Ovabos cows. They actually drop pretty decent amounts of milk supplies. Oh, in pursuit of power. So I'm betting that is a ether current quest. Rimilno. Rimilno would like your opinion on something. Ah, just who I was looking for. Allow me to introduce myself. I am Rimilno of Ishgard. I've been put in charge of our arrangements with Tapper's Den, you see. However, the very first of the Tappers to come bearing Ceruleum has asked quite a lot of us, if I do say so. They wish for our help in getting Uterna Platform G up and running. The very same platform that's at the head of the Imperial's primary energy pipeline. What's more, he's a Garlean. I was convinced the only engineers left in Tapper's Den were from conquered territories. In any case, I'm not qualified to judge the motives of the man. I'd feel much more at ease if I had someone of your experience helping to make the call. I thank you for your willingness to assist. Let us go and speak with the Tapper in question, then. He's a man by the name of Apius. Or Appius, I'm not sure. Where the heck is he? I suppose you must be the friend Rimilno wanted to fetch. You have my thanks for getting him to agree to my proposal. Do not misunderstand. I have yet to agree to any such thing. I merely wanted someone else present during our talk. Very well. Though I do believe my proffered deal will be a boon to us and the Ilsbard contingent alike. I used to work on Uterna Platform G, you see, so I know more than most about the facility and its operation. Rimilno says, that may be so, but your relationship to the facility notwithstanding, why should a Garlean such as yourself still be taking refuge in Tapper's Den? We'd been led to believe that the former workers residing there were from other territories. You're right on the technicality. I was a supervisor rather than your typical staff. When the platform went down, it seemed only right that I stay with my crew. I always thought we were close, but living alongside them in Tapper's Den has made me realize that I took them and their skills for granted, and that's to say nothing of the blind eye I turned to their struggle. That's why I came to you. It's high time I be of some real use to them and everyone else if we're lucky. If we'd manage to get the platform back in working order, it'll dramatically increase our capacity to pump and refine ceruleum for everyone in the region. Sadly, we're more than a few hands short of a full workforce, not to mention the lack of supplies, which is precisely where you come in. Help us get things up and running again, and you'll have your share of the ceruleum coming out of the rig. You couldn't come up with a more mutually beneficial arrangement if you tried. So he says, what do you think? I'm a little, see what he says, I'm a little uneasy about this. Yes, I've been learning the same way myself. Ultimately, what he says about the potential benefits is true. Nevertheless, I doubt the higher-ups would assent to this. I suppose that is how it goes when you're dealing with military types. For what it's worth, I do understand the hesitancy to throw your lot in with someone from a hostile nation. Thus, part 2 of my proposal. I shall do you a service to prove myself worthy of the contingent's trust. I had a look around the fringes of your camp here before you arrived, and I have spotted a few ceruleum engines in need of repair. If I fix them up, your superiors would have no reason to suspect that I want to see you driven out. Well, less reason in any case. Assisting us with the use of local technology would go a long way, I'd imagine. That said, I've not heard anything about the ceruleum engines we've scavenged breaking down. It's not as if they're entirely useless yet, but I guarantee they're not running as they should. Give me the opportunity and I can have them working more efficiently and safely. You're welcome to accompany me while I do. That way you can ensure that I don't get up to something suspect and then vouch for me with your superiors. I have no objections, says Rimilno. I trust you'll sense anything amiss. Avia says, let us begin with a proper inspection then. We can get to work as soon as you're ready, Gav. Alright, my daughter just got home from the doctor's office, so I'm gonna go check up on her, and so this is where we're going to leave it for now. Little bit of a dark ending, but it is what it is. We'll pick it up and bring back the better times in next episode. Okay, I believe we're running this Saturday NUO Extreme again. I'm not 100% sure, but I think we'll be doing that. Last Saturday, of course, we were off for July 4th. And so I'm hoping to see that. I got part 2 of the Gridania beginner new player guide up. I've got parts 1 through 3 up on Limbs and Lemons. I've got part 1 up on Ulda, and then part 1 and 2 on Gridania. I'm working on part 3 for Gridania. Then I'll go doing 2 and 3 for Ulda. And then we'll have the whole series complete. We take everybody through from start to finish all the important things you need to know. Hi, Jakey. What you need to know and what things you can kind of, hold off until the future. Right. So that's available. Anyway, so let's close out with our cat joke because we need to end on a happy note. Why are cats good at video games? Because they have 9 lives. Yep, they have 9 lives. Okay, Catskins. Mama Cat Gamer is signing out. Y'all have a great one.